Love him or hate him, Andrew Tate has gone from relatively unknown to mainstream celebrity status within just 6 months. Here's how he's done it. A big part of his success has come down to those first 5 words that I opened this video with, but we'll get into that later. For some context on how fast this guy has grown, in the last week of January 2022, he gained 197 followers, which comes out to an average of 28 new followers per day. 5 months later, and in the last month of June 2022, he gained 105,873 followers, an average of 15,124 followers per day. That's a 56,000% increase in his rate of daily growth in the space of 5 months. And anytime this guy appears on a podcast, he smashes all their records. He went on the CEO Cast podcast, a British podcast that interviews entrepreneurs and experts and so on, which averages about 10,000 YouTube views per episode. And his episode has got 1 million views after 2 weeks. He also went on this celebrity dating podcast thing, and usually the episodes on YouTube will get, a few 100,000 views. The biggest one has got 2 million views in 8 months. Andrew went on the series, and within 5 days, he had 4 million views. So regardless of what you think of the guy, as he does have some very controversial and sometimes frankly ridiculous points, he's doing a few things very well with his marketing. He's capturing a lot of attention, and he's turning it into a crazy amount of income. And I think we can all learn a few of the principles that he's using, which can be applied to literally any business to help you improve your results. Now, for those of you who don't know who he is, which I assume is very few of you as he is literally everywhere at the moment, Andrew is a kickboxing world champion turned entrepreneur turned online business / dating guru. But rather than your more traditional online guru who keeps things pretty PC and doesn't swear and doesn't say anything very controversial, he's the exact opposite. He has some outlandish opinions, to say the least.
Fine, you're upset you lost your cat. Fair enough. Yeah, the joke may have been a little bit, risque. Who calls the police on a joke? Cat owners. Cat owners are liberals. Cat owners believe in hate speech. Cat owners are Democrats.
So in this video, I've outlined the 4 key things that he's done to blow up online and what you can learn from it. I also want to be very clear going into this video that I do not agree with everything the guy says. I think he makes some good points and I think he makes some ridiculous points, but I think some of those ridiculous points he knows are ridiculous and he's making on purpose to generate attention and grow his business, which is clearly working. I'm not judging the morality of his content or the morality of how he's made his money.
Oh, Tate, did you get your money from kickboxing? And the answer is no.
Okay, so how did he make his money?
Bad guys, mafia guys, these kind of things, they're always involved in these industries because they like the idea of sitting at the table and being involved with fighters and being friends with fighters. They have a lot of money and there's a lot of their money involved in the promotions and money laundering and these kind of things.
I'm solely discussing his marketing strategies today, which is what my channel is about. And anyone can implement these things to apply it to their own endeavors to hopefully see better results. The character of the guy and his content is all for you to decide. Now, the first thing that he's done is he's extremely polarizing with all of his content.
If you're so stupid, it didn't cross your mind at some point that permanently sucking on this vape was gonna damage you in some way, you deserve what happens to your dumb. Breathe air. You don't need a vape.
You either love the guy or you hate the guy. Due to the way that social media and media in general works, if you're very in the middle with your opinions, you're not going to generate much attention. You see this in every aspect of media. Not just social media or TikTok, but also in politics. You've got people that are extremely on one side and people who are extremely on the other, and they throw stones at each other and they say some outlandish things to generate attention and build true fans who love them and then people who hate them. Because if you've got a bunch of people who love you as well as a group that hate you, you're going to get all of the people that love you to vote for you or to watch your content or to become a customer. Whereas if you're very safe and bland and in the middle with what you say, you're going to get a bunch of people who, sort of tolerate you, but they're not going to buy from you, they're not going to vote for you, they're not going to tell their friends about it. If you are extremely polarizing, on the other hand, everyone will pay attention to you. And when the algorithms of social media pick up on this, they'll push your content out to a lot more people who will also all pay attention. Now, everyone's paying attention because some of them hate what you're saying so much that they're watching it over and over, getting annoyed by it, and some people are watching it over and over because they absolutely love what you're saying and completely agree with you. But either way, both groups are watching it, which is why it's going to so many people. And those who love you will end up buying from you over and over and over and literally following your every word. Whereas if you take a very safe approach, you're not very decisive on your stance and you're kind of boring, then no one will really pay attention to you. You won't reach new people and your business won't really grow. This is something that one of the greatest internet marketers, Russell Brunson, talks about in his book, Expert Secrets. If you want to build an online brand that does really well as a person, as a personal personal brand, you have to create an attractive character. And part of this attractive character is you're somewhat throwing rocks at the enemy. So you've got a group that you don't like, which your audience collectively don't like, and you can laugh at these people, make jokes about them, and so on. And through doing so, you build a strong rapport with your audience. Or maybe you're a politician that's, in the red team and you don't like the blue team. So you make all these jokes and you talk bad about the blue team to get a bunch of people in the red team to like you. It's a pretty common business thing and something that he's done really well. Now, some of the stuff that this guy says is just quite frankly ridiculous. So I'm not saying you have to be that polarizing, but you can still see this principle applied in just about any industry and any niche. And it works to great success. James Smith is a great example of this in the fitness niche. He's not afraid to tell people how it is, call out scams, and be brutally honest with people. This causes a lot of people to pay attention to him, whether they like him or don't, whether they agree with him or they don't. And this helps push his content out to more people. And naturally, if half the people who watch your content love it and half of them hate it, and it gets shown to more and more people, that is going to build the size of the people that love you, buy from you, and support you. First lesson is be polarizing in your content. It's much better for people to love you and hate you than to simply tolerate you. Now, the second strategy he uses somewhat builds on top of the first one. And this is going to be the hardest of the 4 tactics to replicate, but it's something he's done really well, and so I think it's worth mentioning. Now, rather than just having his own Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube where he just publishes content and tries to build his audience that way, he has encouraged these raving fans of his to create theme pages on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, reposting these clips of him saying these outlandish things and making compilations and so on, which tend to go viral because of the nature of the content. And it allows these theme pages that are reposting this stuff to go viral and build a large audience. What he has then told these accounts to do is funnel the traffic back to his course. And these people will earn, I think it's about 10% commission on any signups that are generated. Now, because of this, there are literally thousands of Instagram accounts, TikTok accounts, and YouTube channels set up reposting and editing this guy's content. That way they mash together clips and make a 5-minute long compilation on YouTube, or sometimes they'll just directly repost them to Instagram Reels and TikTok. And all of it is not only pushing traffic back to his course, but increasing the awareness of them. I'm pretty sure he said in an interview that he doesn't even have a TikTok account. He's just got an Instagram account and a YouTube channel, but he is literally all over anyone's TikTok feed because he's got thousands of these accounts posting content of them. Now, like I said, this is going to be very hard for the average person to replicate, but I still think it's just a really interesting thing that he's done that's worked really well. But if you are pumping out a lot of content and you've got a high converting offer, you could definitely look at doing this. Encouraging people who have already bought your products and succeeded with them that, hey, if they want to generate an extra stream of income, they can set up a TikTok account, repost some stuff in your niche, and funnel that traffic back to your site. This also ties into the quantity of posting, which helps you grow an audience. If you post more often on social media, you're going to grow faster. That's just simply how it is, assuming the quality of your content stays the same. So instead of him trying to post 4 or 5 times a day, he's got thousands of accounts posting 4, 5, 10 times a day. And so there are literally tens of thousands of pieces of content with his face all over it, getting posted to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. every single day, increasing his awareness and driving sales. Now, whatever you may think of the ethics of promoting a $49 a month program, and then inside the program telling people to, create content promoting the $49 a month program to earn a commission, is up to you. I initially thought it was relatively sketchy and reminded me of pyramid schemes and so on. But when you think about it, they're essentially building theme pages and driving traffic. And you could apply this skill to any other niche. So you could take this skill and apply it to the fitness niche or to whatever you wanted and create a theme page and then promote an affiliate product. I just think the fact that it's inside the course makes it seem a little dodgy. Josh from the future here. When I filmed this video originally, I didn't actually know how anyone could replicate this strategy and apply it to their own business unless they ran some sort of generic affiliate program. However, just before I was about to publish this video, I saw a YouTube short from a friend of mine, Ben Levitt. In this short, he said that a podcast, which I enjoy as well, My First Million, has somewhat implemented the same strategy, where instead of punishing people for ripping off your content from YouTube and so on, and publishing it in short form to TikTok, they're instead rewarding it. They managed to explode the viewership of their podcast, make it go viral, and make it a hit podcast by running a contest where all you had to do to enter was take a 15 to 20 second clip from their YouTube podcast, post it on TikTok, and use the hashtag MFM clips. Then the clip with the most views would win $5,000, as well as $5,000 to go towards the clip that the hosts most enjoyed. Now, many of you may not have a budget of $10,000 to give away. Some of you may, most of you probably don't. So you could do this on a smaller scale by giving away a couple of $100s to the clip that got the most views and a couple of $100 to the clip you most enjoyed. You could also give away some of your own product. You could give away your time. There's a lot of creative ways you can get around this, but I just thought that was a really interesting thing that they did that can be applied to any business, where you can say, hey, if you take my longer form content, publish it on TikTok or Reels or Shorts, whoever gets the most views wins a prize. An interesting twist on a strategy that could yield you really great results for building your audience. Back to the video. The third marketing strategy that this guy's used that we can learn from is he's picked a profitable audience and he creates content speaking directly to these people. He knows who he's talking about and he caters his content towards them. Alex Hormozi was one of the smartest people in the online business world. He's built companies that are making hundreds of millions of dollars per year. He wrote a book called $100 Million Offers, which I highly recommend you guys read. It's like 99 cents, I think, for the Audible, and I'm pretty sure that ebook is actually free. But he says the best markets of people have these four things in common. 1, they're in some sort of pain. 2, they have a high purchasing power. 3, they're easy to target. And 4, it's a growing group of people. If you can pick a market that fits these 4 categories, chances are you will do very well. To the point where Alex says a bad entrepreneur in a good market will do much better than a great entrepreneur in a bad market. Because if you're targeting customers who are not in much pain, they don't have much purchasing power, they're hard to find, and it's a declining group of people, doesn't matter if you're this smart, if you're Elon Musk, let's say he's the best, then you're gonna struggle. Now, Andrew's demographic of people seems to be young men who feel ripped off some way, shape or form by life, which fits into most of these targets. Now, regardless of how they feel ripped off by life, most of them have some sort of pain from this. Either they can't get women to start with, they had a girl and then they were heartbroken, or they're trying to make more money but don't know how. Either way, some sort of pain. Now, they might not have heaps of money to spend, but chances are if they're a young man who doesn't have a mortgage, kids, much responsibilities potentially, because a lot of these people that follow him are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, then chances are they've got the ability to access or come up with $50 a month. So it does tick that box too. The third part is they're relatively easy to target because you can simply just create content speaking to them and then the algorithm will push it out to those people on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And it's a growing group of people. In fact, rapidly growing. I didn't dig too deep into the stats, but I've heard a lot of things that indicate young men nowadays are having some sort of trouble is massively on the rise. And so it's understandable why someone like this is blowing up who can be a voice to those people. So Tate has not only gone ahead and picked a very good market, but he also is speaking directly to them when he creates his content, which is something you can all learn from. Everything he says is directed at young men who want to make more money, be better with women, and live a better life, despite what some of his messages may portray. He isn't creating content based on what would appeal to a 60-year-old man or a middle-aged woman or even a young woman. He very specifically crafts his content to speak towards young men who are struggling with some sort of direction in life, which seems to be a very growing group. He then exaggerates his already polarizing points to generate more attention, and then he's got a ton of people reposting his content to generate even more attention. You can see how all of this is tying together. Now, you can apply this in your own business by simply writing down who are you trying to reach? Who is your target audience? Too many people are creating content or running a business and they've got no target audience. They don't know who they're trying to reach, or they're trying to reach everyone. You should have a specific group of people that you are trying to get your content in front of, which is going to make it so much easier to speak to these people, create content that serves them, which will generate more fans and attention to whatever it is that you're doing, which will help you generate more customers, and you'll be much happier. If you run a marketing agency that helps chiropractors get more customers, you should learn more about the business, about the terminology, about how things work, so you can create content that speaks directly to them. You can speak their language, you can use their terms, their lingo, and so when your content then shows up in front of that target audience, they're going to respond to it better than just a more generic video. When they respond to it better, they're more likely to follow you, engage with you, check out what you've got, and then when they see that you specifically work with that person to help them get customers, they're going to be more interested in your services. Now, the fourth and final piece of the jigsaw with this guy is that he's actually been doing this for a very long time and stuck with it. In fact, I first found out about this guy in early 2019, and I believe he'd already been running for a decent amount of time at that point. When I went to Europe for a couple of months in 2018, I posted a photo of me in front of one of the most expensive hotels in London called the Dorchester, and I was standing beside I think it was a Bentley that's probably worth at least $500,000, maybe $1 million, I don't know. And the significance of the photo is this hotel is where my dad worked as a chef when he was in his early 20s, and I was 18 at the time visiting, so I wanted a cool photo. Anyway, my friend then messaged me and said that, you know, this looks kind of similar to this guy Andrew Tate that he'd seen on Twitter, who would always post pictures of himself with his arms folded and sunglasses on beside fancy cars. At the time, Andrew had some viral tweet about the fact that he'd never watched Star Wars, but he's made millions of dollars, and some people had watched Star Wars and didn't make millions, and so I don't remember the exact tweet, but it was something ridiculous that had gone viral. But my point here is he has been doing this for a long, long time, like 3+ years, and since I've found out about who he was, and he's probably been doing it for many years before that. He'd been creating content online, learning how social media worked, trolling people, figuring out how to capture, hold, and monetize attention. And he continued doing this for years and years and years until he finally blew up at the start of this year. So it's not something that happened overnight. Even with a seemingly unlimited amount of money, a very polarizing attitude, and so on, it still took him like over 3, maybe 4 years to properly blow up. He did have an audience before. He had like 100K on Instagram, but no one really knew who he was, and he wasn't growing. So how authentic those followers were at the time, I'm not sure. But now he's gone from like 100K to 1.5 million in 5 months, and literally everyone knows who this guy is. It's taken time, even with great circumstances working in this guy's favor, so don't expect results overnight with whatever you're doing. As I mentioned at the start, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff this guy says. I think he makes some good points, I think he makes some ridiculous points, but today's video was not about his opinions, but more the marketing strategies behind his crazy wild explosion on social media. Now, to recap, here's the 4 things he does that you can apply in your own business. 1, he's extremely polarizing in his content, which means anytime someone clicks on a piece, they usually watch it the whole way through, which means they get pushed out to more and more and more people. A lot of these people are gonna hate what he has to say. A lot of these people are gonna love what he has to say. And it consistently gets pushed out to more and more people, which allows him to build a massive fan base of people who love everything he says and will willingly pay for whatever advice, offers, businesses he has. Having tens of millions of people who hate you and a couple million people who absolutely love you is literally worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The second point is he's built an army of affiliates to distribute and promote his content and business. 3, he made sure he picked a highly profitable niche and creates content speaking directly to these people so that it appeals to them and generates true fans. And 4, he stuck to this for a long period of time. He didn't quit after he didn't go viral in a month or a few months. He stuck at this for years and years and years until he saw results. Hopefully you've learned from this, and regardless of your opinion on the guy, you can take away some interesting points that can help you in your own business. I always like to look at people who have crushed it and have built a large audience, business, etc., and dissect what they're doing that's allowing them to get these results, even if I do or don't like them. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you all in the next one.